Hello everyone, my name is Thomas and welcome to my channel, where we dive into the fascinating history of Czechia and the rest of Europe. Today I'm taking you to one of the most stunning hidden gems in Europe, Loket Castle. This fortress offers a deep dive into history, breathtaking views, and it's perfect getaway to anyone looking to explore the uncharted beauty of Western Czechia. Let's jump straight into where this castle is located and how it was founded. High above a sharp bend of Ohře River, on a massive granite cliff in western Czechia, stands a fortress built for pure strategic dominance. This is Loket Castle, located just a few kilometers from the famous spa town of Karlovy Vary. For over 800 years, it has served as a vital military stronghold, protecting the borderlands and earning its title as impregnable key to the Bohemian Kingdom. Today, we are going to explore its royal history, its strategic importance for Czech monarchs, and the massive granite walls that made it one of the most secure and vital assets in Central Europe. The name Loket literally means elbow in Czech, and look at the landscape reveals why. The Ohře River carves a sharp dramatic loop around the stronghold, creating a natural water defense that made the fortress nearly impossible to take by storm. For centuries, this was the ultimate guardian of the Bohemian border. Historians still debate its exact origins. Older German traditions suggest it was built by the minister of Hep in the 12th century under the Stauffer dynasty. However, due to the presence of classic Bohemian rotunda, most experts believe the true founder was the Czech King Perched Otakar I. The first written record dates back to 1227, describing a meeting between the king and a monk from Regensburg. It is confirmed that they were praying in the castle chapel after discussing a possible crusade. By the time of King Přemysl Otakar II, Loket became the center of a unique manor system. The king granted a small estates to minor nobles in exchange for their military service. These men of Loket were bound to defend the castle at its moment's notice. It wasn't just a home for elite, it was high readiness military headquarters. The architectural crown of this period is the Romanesque rotunda. Loket has hosted many kings, but for the most famous of them, it wasn't a palace, it was a cage. In 1319, the castle became the stage of bitter royal drama. King John of Luxembourg, the famous Night King, grew increasingly suspicious of his wife, Queen Elizabeth of Bohemia. He feared she was plotting to take the throne with the help of Czech nobility. In a fit of rage and paranoia, John stormed Loket, seized the queen and sent her into exile. But his cruelty didn't stop there. He took his own children and locked them away in the castle's dark, cold cellars. Among them was the 3-year-old Prince Wenceslav. For 2 months, this toddler was kept in total darkness in cellar room. Imagine a future emperor locked in a dungeon by his own father. That's not a Netflix show, that's a real history of the Czech Republic. That boy grew up to be Charles IV, the Holy Roman Emperor and arguably the greatest Czech monarch. You would expect him to despise the place where he was imprisoned, but the opposite was true. As an adult, he returned to Loket often for diplomacy and hunting. He officially designed Loket as an untouchable asset of the Bohemian crown. It was considered so essential to the kingdom's safety that no king, under any circumstances, was allowed to sell it. His son, Wenceslav IV, whom you might remember from Touching and Žebrák episodes, continued this legacy. He added the Margrave house and the Burgrave's house, transforming the rugged fortress into sophisticated Gothic residence fit for an emperor. The 15th century brought the fire of the Hussite wars. Because of its massive walls, Loket became a primary target. In 1421, 27 and 29, the Hussite army stood before these gates. But the elbow lived up its reputation. It never fell. In 1434, the debt-ridden King Sigismund pawned the castle to his cancer, Kaspar Schlick. This marked the beginning of century-long reign by the Schlick family. They added grand halls and decorated the rooms with expensive Gothic arts that you can still see today. This golden era of peace ended in 1547. The Schlicks joined an uprising against King Ferdinand I of the Habsburg house and lost. The castle was seized, and soon the devastation of the 30 Years' War arrived. Even after the defeat at the White Mountain, Loket refused to submit. It became a chaotic game of chess between Saxons, Bavarians and Swedes. By the end of the war, the glory of medieval knights was gone. By the 18th century, the castle was a warehouse. The townspeople even used the old Margrave's house to store grain. After another devastating fire in 1725, the castle stood as a ghost for 70 years. Then, in 1792, a grim chapter began. The fortress was covered in the state prison. The halls that once hosted emperors were now filled with the sounds of chains. This wasn't a restoration of beauty, but of utility. Walls were lowered, roofs replaced, and for next 150 years Loket was a place of confinement and silence. The real rebirth began after the Velvet Revolution. In 1992, the town regained ownership and opened the gate to the public. Today, walking through Loket is like walking through a history. Loket Castle stands as a testament to the turbulent history of Bohemia, but its story is also inseparable from the landscape that surrounds it. Perched on the edge of the lush Slavkov forest, the fortress is a gateway to the region recognized for its global importance. Sitting right in the heart of UNESCO, protecting the great spa towns of Europe. It's a place where history is framed by some of the most beautiful nature in Czechia. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more historical adventures. See you in the next video.